right. What's the opening gonna be?
What do you mean the opening? Hello, Theorycrafting Thursday. That is the show that you are listening to now. My name is Ursinity, and his name is Proud. We are here now. This is, of course, everybody's favorite linguistics podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing how some of us, possibly the person that starts with a U and ends with an inity, tends to overuse the word like, and also tons of other words.
Why would you tell?
I mean, everybody knows. I was listening to the Wednesday show. It was not good. I said like probably every other word, and I was very embarrassed by it.
That being said, how many times did you say that you said like?
I probably said that word.
I don't actually really care.
Many times. Many more times than I should have. Anyway,
more times than you would like.
That's our regular weekly linguistics segment, and as of now that we're done with that,
I like the word putrid.
Putrid, that's a pretty good word. I'm a big fan of obsequious.
Okay. Chrysanthemum is also good. It's
anything,
got good sounds.
I like any word that is pretentious and unnecessarily long and polysyllabic and makes me feel smarter than I am. Yeah, polysyllabic. That's a good one. Anyway, we're going to talk about Dota 2, shall we? We've got a good episode lined up. Also, not also anything, actually. Let's just discuss our week in Dota. How was your week in Dota, Proud?
My week's been good. Back up to 48. I dropped a little bit down to 47, but then I got it back up.
Nice.
My solo. So here's what I do. If I win a few games, I'm like, oh man, better not play again because I'll lose, and then it'll ruin this high. And then if I lose, I'm like, man, I better keep playing because I don't want to end on a loss. And that's the worst system anyone's ever invented.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to not do that, but man, is it hard.
Feel that is.
Why do you keep saying that?
It's gonna bother me for the entire next hour and a half that we record this show. Oh my god! All right. Anyway, that is, and I've discussed this on the show previously. The gambler's fallacy is so prominent in my way of playing solo queue that it actually makes me feel like a crazy person. And I don't even feel like a crazy person. I just am a crazy person. It makes no sense, but I am incredibly susceptible to the gambler's fallacy, and it sounds like you are too. Although you play...
No, there's nothing phallic about the way I play, Sam.
Oh, things are very phallic. You only play one position carries. That is about as phallic as Dota 2 gets.
That's mid, I think. If I played anti-mage, I would agree with you, but I don't... I mean, anti-mage is I'm a big man, I'm gonna carry the game all by myself. That's anti-mage. Fuck you. Fuck anti-mage culture.
All these...
Follow me on Twitter, @ProudDota. Anyway, it's not your turn to talk yet, Sam. All right, calm the fuck down.
You're just you're just trying to tilt me from pre-recording to now. Proud has been trying to tilt me for the last 10 minutes. Now he's insulting anti-mage.
Oh my god!
Yo, gosh!
What a world we live in. You liked my "We must destroy anti-mage culture" tweet. Follow me @ProudDota. But you even, I want to say you retweeted it and it's pinned on your wall and you worshipped it. So I don't want to hear this thing about you anti-mage culture now.
He's my favorite carry and it's what I always flame you for.
Just fuck anti-mage culture. The person who fucking goes up in your pub and highlights anti-mage goes, me safe lane, me HC. If they ever call carry HC, you lost.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm just saying anti-mage is my favorite carry and I like him.
He's a fine hero. I'm just
saying great pecs.
Anti-mage culture is shit.
That's fair.
Anyway, what the fuck was I even gonna say? Oh yeah, no, I don't. There's no fallacy here. I don't want to end on a loss. That's not I think I'm gonna win. That's just I'm too neurotic to end on a loss.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's it. That's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah, well, also, I mean, and again, I feel like we reiterate certain things every other week, but you also only play ranked, basically. You almost always play ranked, 95% of your games.
The most said phrase about me that you say on this show, outside
well, it's an important phrase, because, of the many distinctions between the two of us, as show hosts, that is probably the most, or just as Dota players, that is what I would say the most important dichotomy between the two of us, and so... I mean, yeah.
Also,
anyway,
I'm cuter.
That also is that's incredibly debatable. But
yeah, I mean, you're prettier. I'm cuter though.
That's fair. I can accept that and move on with my life.
I got handsome calves.
Other than the hero we will be playing for this episode, what heroes have you been playing? Anything in particular?
I've played a couple Spectre games recently. Me and Scrunk played a Spectre Necrophos lane. Like he just logged on. He was like, "Yo, Proud, I want to play Spectre Necrophos like right now, man." And I was like, "All right, dude, let's do it." And then we did, and it was fucking dope. That was a fun ass lane. If you ever, I mean, maybe the next thing on Theorycraft Thursdays, I bring Scrunk in and we play Spectre Necrophos, and it's just fucking hilarious. But that's good. Played an Axe game. I played like shit. It was like a 5.5, 6K game, and they're like, "Yo, play Axe," and I'm like, "I wanted to support, please," but no, they made me play Axe, and that was fun. Um, Lone Druid. I feel more confident in Luna now. Luna's good.
Yeah, we've had some good Luna games as a team.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, it's kind of like Juggernaut. Like it's a really simple ass hero, but it also can win the lane pretty much on its own, and it's fairly self sufficient. And then it can like it fights early, but also goes late really well. Like it's a good carry. It's just kind of hard to play in pubs, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely an effective
Some pubs.
carry. It's
Yeah.
and people know what you're gonna do too. It's not like it's not as though people are going to be like, "Oh, he's playing Luna. What do you think he's gonna do?" It's like, "All right, no, he's gonna do this build, give or take an item.
Yeah.
He's going to stack ancients. He's gonna take stacks. He's gonna say, "Hey guys, let's push."
Yeah. It's not
And
like you're playing tiny safe lane and they're like, is he gonna kill people? Is he gonna farm? Is he gonna push? Is he gonna initiate? I don't know.
yep. So that's about it for you for this week.
Yeah, we won our team games. It's good.
Yeah, we had
I've been playing with Roland a little bit because we're prepping for a show. And
Friday show,
yeah,
Proudland.
the Friday show, Proudland, all of Proud and blah, blah, blah. And man, some like there's a difference playing with him when you're playing ranked and unranked. Because like in ranked, he played fucking great, but we played unranked, and like I listened to the Monday show just because I felt so bad and I wanted to hear him vent. But like, okay, so we queue up for this game, and I'm like, and this the night before it was like me, him, and AG, and like he fucking wrecked. Like he carried a game on a Sand King. It was fucking awesome. I was like, damn, why are you not higher MR? That was sick. And then he plays this Legion Commander jungle game, which I mean, okay, fine, Legion Commander jungle. I've heard about the Roland jungle, whatever, jungling's fine. And then I look at his item builds, and he doesn't even have a fucking Iron Talon. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, where's your Iron Talon? Like, okay, maybe he's just dumb and he just didn't know. That's fine. And he's like, I'm following a build, man. It's a Gray Fox or some shit. I was like, all right, that's fine, but just don't follow the build and go Brown Boots Blink. And then like I look back at like 8 minutes and I've got like no help mid and all that shit, and he's got a fucking Midas and no boots. I'm like, it's not okay, man. That's not okay.
Yeah, literally the worst. It's like every time we talk about jungle on the show, that is the one thing we always say is like, don't jungle and then build a Midas because you're gonna be worthless for even longer.
I didn't know he wasn't gonna try at all. So I was like, what the fuck? I actually don't know why the fuck, because like I was in it's time for Roland to get good mode. So I was like, yo, like, what are you doing, dude? You're not gonna improve if you do shit like this. But little did I know he was in don't give a fuck mode, which if you're in that mode, just let me know. Just let me know in advance. Then I won't try to help you.
Yeah. Well, also he is like you and only plays ranked, so like unranked, I suppose, is like super casual mode.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I can't even play a game of Dota without trying to improve in some way anymore.
Agreed, and that's the way to do it. So my week in Dota, like I mean, we already talked about. We've had a lot of good team games. We had a few bad team games. We had a really good like team talk, and you know the Tuesday show they talk a lot about team building, so we won't drag on
Yeah.
and on about that. But we've been really consolidating our time into being more productive. It's not like we just get together every night or like every other night and play 3 games. It's like, okay, well, let's play 2 games and then take a break because we lost 2 and we don't want to tilt, or like, oh, go over replays, stuff like that. So those have been really fun, and I've been really enjoying our team stuff despite a couple like agonizing losses that we learned from, which is good. Other than that, I've been playing good mix of heroes. I played a TA game the other day, which was a good time. Although it was in normal, it was an unranked, and it was I don't remember who I was playing with, but it was like a mixed skill party, and I just kind of ran away with the game. I've been playing, gosh, yeah, I'm just looking at my recent games. I talked about it last week, but we as a team, but also me personally, are working on Lena mid again because that's like it is my
Yeah.
second most played hero. I've played even more Lena games than Kunkka games still,
Oh
despite not playing
my.
her for like 6 months.
Oh gosh.
Um, and that's definitely a specialty of mine hero wise. So we've been
I would
making
say
that
so.
work.
Your Lena is sick. Sam, you got a good Lena. I'm gonna say it publicly. I like Sam's Lena.
It is
Let it be
quite good.
known. It's
Uh,
great.
it is definitely also my cosmetics for Lena are on point.
Okay,
I
are they?
will. Yeah, they. I have the Arcana. I have the Immortal from the TI, and then I have the entire like imbued flame set. It's one of my favorite heroes as far as my cosmetic schemes go.
Okay.
But yeah, so making that work again has been fun. Again, I talked about that last week, so I won't drag on about it. Playing a little more Disruptor. And then just a bunch of random, like, your generic 5 slots. Been playing Skywrath again. I only played one game this week, but I've been played another couple games in the last week or so as well. The hero's strong in certain situations, certain like support duos. So I've been testing it. I'm honestly like on the fence. Like sometimes I have games with Skywrath and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. And other times I have games with Skywrath and I'm like, wow, this was stupid and I'm dead all the time and this is
Yeah.
miserable and I don't want to be playing this game. And that's any niche support. I feel like Coddle is a similar one, or even like Shadow Demon. Some games you're like, boy, I just am irrelevant every fight because I just die immediately because I have 700 health, stuff like that. But yeah, that's been my week in Dota. Nothing too exciting. I've been gaining solo more decently, but that's really only because I play so little ranked solo that I've won like 4 in a row. So
Yeah. I feel
like
like
it just inflates so much.
did you like drop earlier? Because I feel like you're like one game up from last week.
I'm only one game up from last week. Yes, I only
You
played one
only.
game.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, last week I won 2 games on stream and then I won one game off stream and then I won one game on stream this week and
Jesus
I
Christ, dude.
just don't like I've been generally I get like 1 or 2 games in and then we have team practice or we have a
Yeah.
recording or whatever and I always play my warm-up game in international ranked and
Yeah.
like who cares, like that MMR is gone now, if not I forget when it goes away, but it'll be going away soon and then
Yeah.
I'll just go back to playing unranked because I like playing those zero stress games where I can just focus on myself and like try new things or refine other things and not have to worry about like,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm plus or minus 25 points. So that's been my week in Dota. Nothing to write home about, really.
Okay.
So for our segment this week, we are going to talk about it's kind of a twofold segment, but they're very closely folded, like they're touching each other. They're in embrace, whatever fabric it is. It is
Are you like rubbing your
from
hands
embrace.
together?
I am actually doing that right now. Could you hear it?
Yeah,
Um,
dude.
Anyway, we're going to talk about adapting and or learning new builds. So to reveal our combo for this week because it's relative to our segment, I'm going to be talking about the 4 position Kunkka, which we've discussed before, but we're talking about the
Hell
LanM
yeah, we
build
did.
now, which is popularized during TI by LanM and also other players like Misery that later on in the tournament were adapting his build. And by adapting, I mean they're just playing exactly what he does. It's kind of like Attacker.
Yeah.
Like everybody that played Kunkka mid would do weird things, and then they see, oh, Attacker is way better than everybody else. What does he do? Oh, okay, let's just do that. And the LanM Kunkka build is interesting, but as a support Kunkka player with many games of it, it took me a while to adapt to this LanM build, and I was kind of like worried at first, and I didn't think it would work for me because I thought it was one of those specialized builds. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this whole segment idea. And then Proud's hero this week is going to be Arc Warden, which I believe we did one episode on right when it came out. We had Grouty playing it because he's
Yeah.
played like a dozen. He had played like a decent amount of Arc Warden at that point.
Enough that he was the person that we flamed for being an Arc Warden picker.
Yes, and now
The hero
everybody's
was
in a big
fucking
uproar.
stupid before it was
It,
reworked.
it definitely was, and it's still stupid now.
Oh
But
yeah,
so
it's pretty
Proud is
dumb now.
now Pride is learning that hero in anticipation of its addition to Captain's mode.
Yep.
So he is now learning new builds in through that.
Truth.
So, Pride, would you like to talk about learning builds before I go on adapting builds?
Sure. Yeah. So there's a couple paths to like learning builds. There's one the more casual, like just what do you think is good, and then you can try it out, and that's kind of a good place to start. Like I don't know, let's say you're trying out Sven, and you're not really sure like what's really good, but you're like, man, Mask of Madness maybe would be really cool, or oh hey, it turns out I get locked down when I play Sven. Guess I need a fucking BKB, big fucking surprise. Or man, I wish I did more damage. What can maybe I'll try out fucking crit. Or man, I'm dying. Maybe I try out heart, etc., etc. So like it's good to just try out what you think would be good once or twice. If you find something that really works for you, that's cool. But it's always a good idea to check out what people way better than you are doing because not only are they better at Dota, they're probably better at thinking about Dota. So it's always good not to exactly copy their builds, but well, except in the case of someone like Attacker, who's the only one who's good at a certain hero or is
Yeah.
able to make that hero work. But like if everyone's doing the same thing at a higher level, it may be worth trying that out for yourself. Not to discourage any innovation, especially being
Like,
that the
yeah.
build for Juggernaut.
Or Armlet PA rip. I
Yeah,
thought it was on
please.
the Wednesday show, but I've been seeing it. I don't know if you've been seeing this, Proud. I don't want to go off on like a horrible
I
tangent.
did
Although
see a game of it.
it is actually relative to the topic of adapting or working on new builds. I've been seeing it not like I'd say like maybe 25% of the games I see a PA in my game that's not played by you. I see him or her go Armlet, and it hurts my soul. I've
Yeah,
not
it's
seen it
shit.
win except in games where like the game is won by like some other extraneous factor. It sucks. I hate it so much, and I talked about this on the Wednesday show, so I won't reiterate. But that's an
Yeah.
example of a build where like, hey, maybe just like go to PA on Dota buff and see like, oh boy, everybody 6K plus is doing X, Y, and Z,
Yeah,
and none
Fizz,
of them have
Vigor,
armlets.
Aki, all that shit, and
Yeah,
then a
and that
Desto.
yeah, and that applies to any hero. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, the
Anyway,
best thing to
continue.
do, especially when I was learning Arc Warden, is like I had my own thoughts or whatever. But Arc Warden is the kind of hero where like there's so much shit going on with him. There are so many fucking items that you can buy for them. I guess it's them, right? I don't know. Arc Warden doesn't
I,
seem like they got a gender. I'm gonna say
well,
them, and it's multiple for the most part. So
Well, isn't it just
I
one
guess it's one
singular they?
itself, and then it has like a double, which is I guess still
It's
itself.
like a mirror image.
Okay, I'm just gonna call it. I'm just gonna say little Arc-chan.
Okay,
All right.
Arky boy.
Little Arky boy. All right. Well, that's still okay. Anyway, so Lil Arky,
I mean,
it's the rap name.
okay,
Anyway, so Lil Arky. The thing with Lil Arky is there's so many fucking item builds. Arky's kind of like Tinker, right? There's his whole thing is he's kind of based around having a bunch of different items and shit. So there's like a lot of different fucking items that can be good because you're not used to having like double uses on items. So kind of all your heuristics around what would be good for a certain hero are just blown out of the water. So it turns out, like one of the cool things about Lil Arky is you can go Shadowblade on him, and it kind of becomes like a damage item rather than an initiation item. Like, sure, it's really good for the escape and the initiation and that sort of thing, but one of the things you can do with it is mid-fight, you press Shadowblade on both your units, and they both do the 175 backstab damage. So it turns
Mhm.
into 350 physical damage burst off of one Shadowblade purchase, and it's an escape item and all that shit. So you kind of need to change the way you think about a lot of things. And I know for a fact that I don't really know how to think about Arc Warden very well. So the first thing I did was I went on Dota Buff. I saw player rankings and I opened up. I always see like people who have played it in the last like 2 days who have a shit ton of games on it. I don't want to just get like, oh, Dendi played this hero a couple times and what did he do a month ago? Because
Yeah,
I mean, some of the results can be stale as shit and can just be some random pro player who played it once or twice. But you want to look for like motherfuckers who have like 1,000 games of that hero, right? Like if I want to look at a lone druid spammer, I don't want to look at like I don't
Bulldog.
know. Even then, like I probably would, but let's say
But
like
yeah,
if
he's an exception, I suppose.
yeah, like if Skrunk was a pro player, like Skrunk's got 30 lone druid games, and if Skrunk was like a 9K player, and the versus me, I'm like fucking whatever, close to 5K, and I have say 650 games. I don't want to look at just because Skrunk is really good and he's 9K and he has 30 games of lone druid. He probably has less of an idea about the actual builds than someone who's got like 650 games of the lone druid. So
Yeah,
you want to go for someone with a shit ton of games that's super specialized on the hero. Pro players look up to hero spammers when they want to learn a hero, like Vega, when they won they
ESL
won, yeah,
one New York.
yeah. They got copied this dude's broodmother, or Mag copied someone's broodmother, and like he's a pro player, but he copied some like pub spammers tactics on a hero. So I mean that's the thing to do. Just look at a fucking pub spammer, see what they're doing, and copy that. So like the first thing that I found was you can go like you always go oh okay so one cool thing was the you buy a salve and a mango, and then when you use the tempest double replicate, it has all your items, so you replicate and then you have your double salve and mango you, and you just instantly have fucking full mana and health every time you drop out a tempest double, which is great.
That's cool.
So I copied that, and then like in a week it turned into everyone was using bottle. I don't know, maybe it was always bottle and just the
People used to do that.
by chance, yeah, I don't know, it was weird, but yeah, so now people are buying bottle mid. um and that's cool. And the build changed away from you did like Maelstrom, Maelstrom BKB, and sometimes you would go like Orchid, sometimes you would just go crit, but it would just be like Mjolnir, BKB, and then whatever huge damage item. But now people are they go like Shadow Blade into Orchid, into sometimes Maelstrom, sometimes straight into Bloodthorn, and then you get a Silver Edge if you need it. But like the general core is you get like a Shadow Blade and an Orchid into like a Bloodthorn and shit. And then like even if people have Lincoln Spheres or Mantas, they like Manta off one of the Bloodthorns and then you Bloodthorn them again, and then you get your fucking Fluxes on them and shit. And it's just crazy. Like all the counters to Orchid you would think of are countered by having two Orchids you can use immediately. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's true. I never thought about that.
Yeah, except for like BKB, but then again, like it's BKB, like you're not gonna
Who
build
built that?
around. Yeah, who's the idiots?
I mean, like it doesn't do a lot of damage, and like who cares,
Yeah.
right?
So
BKB
that
garbage item. At least that's what my pups think.
the other good thing that I love to do, I've been doing it basically every night, is I go to the watch tab and you can look at live games and I just like search for heroes to watch and I just type in Arc Warden and I try to find a game that hasn't really started yet and I just like watch whatever phase on the hero I'm kind of uncomfortable with. So yeah, it's fucking the watch tab is great because I mean it takes effort to go and find a VOD and like download a fucking replay and then watch the shit, but it's just like if you want to see what skilled people do in pubs, just go to the watch tab, type in a hero name, click on that, just kind of see what's up. Sometimes you just find someone who's shit, and then you can feel better about yourself. But other times you see someone actually doing cool shit. That's why I was like, oh hey, everyone's going this weird fucking Shadow Blade Orchid build now. Maybe I'll try that out.
That's pretty cool. So I suppose the crux of all of this is that when you're learning a completely new hero, first step is just, I mean, in general about anything in Dota, I feel just look at people that are better than you, see what they're doing. B, see what all of them are doing, not just like one dude, and aggregate and see like, oh, some people do, for example, salve mango, and other people do bottle, but more people do bottle, so like that.
Yeah,
Go to like pub spammers. Don't go to pro players because that is something that I've definitely noticed on Dota Buff rankings. Is there are plenty of people that are pro players that obviously like ex pro player is of course going to be really good at just about every hero because turns out they're a professional player,
yeah.
but they're not going to specialize. They're just so
Well,
much better
it's
at
not
Dota
even
on
that.
average.
It's just the Dota buff ranking. Like, if you're really high
Well, that
MMR or
too.
if you're a professional player, like they have their own classification. So like, it'll tell me that like Funnick is a better Lone Druid player than Paradise, who's like one of the best Lone Druid, at
Yeah.
least pub players ever. And I'm like,
Also,
that's not fucking true.
rankings encompass, I guess would be the word, games played on ticketed games or in
Yeah,
ticketed tournaments. Like my Winter Wyvern ranking was changing after playing it in like I
yeah,
forget what
yeah.
tournament it was in,
And
like
and then and
82L.
those tournament games like matter more. So like,
Yeah.
if Funnick stomps one Lone Druid game at TI, it's gonna be like, whoa, he must be really good. Like
Yeah.
Paradise has never been to TI, so he's never gonna have that higher ranking.
Yeah. Okay. So learning a new build, that's a bit more. I wouldn't say rote, but it is. You have a pretty like linear experience, right? Where you do your research and then you play and then you refine and then you do more research and you continue to refine.
Yeah,
When you are already somebody who plays a hero, like
yeah,
my example will be Kunkka for this, compared to I suppose I could do some other heroes, but Kunkka's probably my best example since his build's so radically different. Anyway, when you already know how to play a hero and you feel
yeah,
very comfortable on it, which can be a problem for many people that I know and
yeah.
even like have coached and people in our community, people listening to this podcast right now, I'm sure.
Even me with my Juggernaut.
Yeah, even you, or like you with LD, for instance, like when you
Yeah.
used to be like super anti-radiance, and then
Oh, for
like it turned
sure.
out that was the thing to do. When people get entrenched in builds, and this happens especially with those heroes that only have like two builds, for instance, like a hero like Tinker, where there were two core builds, where it was like, all right, you do the Miracle, Aether Lens Ags thing, or you hate that and you go like Dagon E-Blade, like the classic build.
Yeah.
When you are entrenched in one or the other, and you fail to accommodate or fail to recognize and adapt other builds, your overall mastery of the hero gets much worse. And using Cook as the example, there are still two builds. It's not like people only do the LanM build. It just so happens that the LanM build is very good at certain things, and the more classic build that I discussed when we've previously run Kunkka, which is the more like generic support item build where you go like mana boots into Aether Lens and a Blink Dagger and like then whatever you need, whether it's Glimmer Cape or Yules, etc. That's a more generic build that people still do and is still successful. But now with this LanM build, it's very interesting to see people that either are entrenched in their beliefs that like, all right, support Kunkka is just, you buy mana boots, you max X first, you max Torrent second, you skip Tidebringer, and then you have the kind of new wave of people that are thinking like, oh, well, some games it's better to do physical damage than to do magic damage, or like what if the enemy team counterpicks you and they're like, all right, we're gonna have Juggernaut and Nakes, and then you're like, oh boy, well, I can't gank with X, so
Yeah.
and you have to learn like, oh boy, I have to actually know how to hit my torrents, and that's something I've definitely learned on Kunkka. My torrent accuracy is better after playing the LanM build because you don't have that crutch.
Yeah.
Anyway, to
100%.
bring this back to a less specific discussion on Kunkka or any specific hero, when adapting builds, you similar to learning a new build, you do the research, and a large part of it, and this is such a cliche, but a large part of it is just keeping an open mind and reverse engineering a build, which is something that is invaluable in learning any new build or any new hero or even like any like even 5-man strat, you see like, all right, I see the result, and then you think like, all right, why is LanM doing this, or why is whatever person on whatever hero doing this thing, or why did this captain pick these heroes?
Yeah.
Reverse engineering a new build that is unfamiliar to you is incredibly important, and it gives you so much additional insight into the hero that you're interested in, or the play style, or what have you. So that's kind of my 2 cents. Reverse engineering is a
Okay.
really big deal. And just in
Yeah.
general, even if somebody's doing something bad, like learning to think of like, all right, they did this because of this reason. And even if you still aren't going to like build Armlet on Kunkka support, let's say, you just got to know like why people are doing it. And
Yeah.
like, maybe situationally it is better. So that's
Yeah.
very important.
The best example I can think for me is well, there's the classic when Juggernaut started building Battle Fury, and I was like, no, they're not. That's crazy. But then also like Armlet on Sven, like there's some game where No Tail or Miracle, I think it was No Tail did that,
No tech.
and yeah, then they were
I
just
actually
like,
think they both did it, but
yeah, I mean they both have done it. Miracle loved to do it at well anyway he loved doing it when Sven first got popular, and then when Armlet got buffed, No Tail started doing it too. Um,
a
but yeah,
Chinese player that does it a lot too. I think
yeah,
Shadow.
there's a lot of people who like it, but yeah, I was like, I really don't like this, but for like the time they are fighting in the game and like based on the enemy team, like I can see why they thought that like this is the thing to do, and like fighting at this timing, getting Armlet this early as opposed to like waiting for Echo Saber and Helm of the Dominator and all that shit makes like plenty of sense. And the other
Yeah.
team didn't have many dots, so you could play around it really well and like be God strength and like immortal basically, just like hitting people for insane amounts of damage. So it's important. You see a build, even if you don't like it. Like I hate Armlet's Fen, but you have to try to at least see what the thought, like what a possible justification could be in the player's mind.
Yeah, and when it comes to adapting these builds now, like it's one thing to know multiple builds for a hero, but it's another thing to personalize and adapt a build. But once you see these things that other people are doing, whether they're people way better than you, or people at your level, or people that are worse than you, even seeing them build a certain item or go a certain skill build on a hero, even if you don't even if you don't adopt that build entirely, you can take bits and pieces of it that you like, whether
Sure.
it's situationally or just for your static build, and
Yeah,
accommodate
there's
them into your build now, and kind of not only increase your build's variation and your potential as a player of whatever hero, but also when you see these people do this build, like if using Kunkka as the example again, now, when I'm playing against a Kunkka, I know how his build is going to function, whether he's going for the traditional build or for the LanM build. So, not only are you going to become a better player at that hero and have more variation of your builds, but now you're going to be better at playing against an enemy hero in a variety of different fashions compared to being thrown for a loop and
yeah,
being like, what do you mean this enemy Kunkka does physical damage? He's supposed to do magic damage.
yeah.
Ah.
I feel you, dog. I feel
And
you.
yeah, and then especially this applies more so I would say to cores in the late game where you have a lot of options itemization wise. I was thinking about this primarily with Lena because recently we've been playing Alina, and it's a hero that I didn't play for, a few months because she was pretty garbage, and she still isn't very good. But you can get over that stuff if you're just like very versed in the hero. But with our new changes, I was doing research and I saw some people were doing right click builds. And people always kind of tried around, like messed around with right click builds. I used to play with this guy that only played Lena every single game, and he would always go MKB, like third item, because you just get so much attack speed.
Yeah.
So even though I'm not going to do something like that, it's important to have that in your wheelhouse and know, like, all right, if I do have to go for physical damage on a hero like Lena or a hero like Invoker is another great example of this dynamic. Having those experiences, whether it's through research or playing with people or playing against people, you're going to become more versed. So in a recent game on Lena, for instance, I built a Bloodthorn, and in a different game, I built a Desolator late game and stuff like that because I had seen somebody else do it, or I had seen a pro player, or I had read about it on Dota Buff, or read about it, wherever, and accommodated that thing into my wheelhouse of builds, and it makes me a better Lena player. So that's
Yeah.
what I really get to when it comes to adapting builds. Is it's not just about adopting a new build because like some 8K god player is doing, X, Y, or Z. It's about, having the ability to, wrap it all up into a build that works for you individually. Like if you hate playing around Armlet, maybe don't go this build, but no, it's an option,
Yeah.
for
I would
instance.
also extend that to like using what is trending for one hero can be your inspiration to trend it on another hero. One
Oh
example
yeah.
would be like when Mask of Madness was huge in the Sniper and Troll patch. It wasn't too far after that. I was playing Mask of Madness Spectre, and RTZ was playing Mask of Madness PA, and there was fucking Mask of Madness Luna instead of Helm of the Dominator Luna. So
Yeah.
you can, and the same thing is kind of happening with Diffusal right now. Diffusal got really good, and people kind of stopped playing like Phantom Lance and that sort of thing. But they were still like, let's try this on Void. And then Diffusal started getting picked up way more on Juggernaut. And then there's some guy who got to 6K with Deso Diffusal on Phantom Assassin.
Hmm.
So like when you see some item getting good, like that's how I came up with my Juggernaut build. Is I was falling asleep and I saw Eternal End, or I heard about Eternal Envy and Diffusal Blade and Juggernaut and Vanguard, but they were in different games. But I did hear pieces about Vanguard in one game and Diffusal Blade on another, and then I made a build that I thought was Envy's, but it turns out it wasn't. So yeah, just if you hear things that people do that you like, take pieces of them. You can try them out in full, or you can try an amalgamation of other people's builds and find something that works for you. But a big part of Dota, like you're gonna steal some shit. You may feel uncreative, and if your name is Flub, it may be like sacrilege to steal things from other people.
Hmm.
But I mean, Dota's a game with so many players and it's so complicated. You don't have to be a scientist. You can just be an engineer. You can make other people's shit better. You don't have to invent everything all for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and it seems like very simple advice, but there's a reason why really good players do certain things, right? If all the players that are better than you are doing a certain thing, at least look into it. And there are some classic builds that, I've whether through playing in like these mixed MMR, mixed skill range groups, you see a lot of different things, both on both ends. Like especially if you're a lower MMR player and you see all the higher MMR players doing certain things, you have to see that and recognize. But also, when you play with certain lower MMR players and they just, they may um, do certain things that are just horribly suboptimal, but they don't know that until like the example is given. So if you are somebody who, I was trying to think of a way that's like not not mean sounding to say this, but if you are having trouble on a hero, for instance, or if you have a very like specific build on a hero, at the very least do some research and just like Proud said, that's a really good advice. Something I actually don't do is just go to the watch tab and look for a specific hero and see what other people are doing differently. And maybe if you've lost your last 10 games playing Coddle Deso first, maybe win the next 10 games by not building Deso first.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
see
just
what
an
works and what
example.
doesn't.
Coddle Deso is incredible.
It
Uh,
is quite good.
but just for example, like let's just pretend for 1 second that it's not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I of course I chose the one build that's universally good in every game to make fun of,
Yeah,
but
there's no situation where you don't go mid Coddle with a Deso first item.
yeah,
It's like
but
Deso brown boots normally, right?
yeah, our podcast can't be perfect. We make mistakes sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, hopefully our infection continues into our game this week because we are going to be hopefully only playing one game compared to last week where we had to play
Yeah.
multiple because Underlord kept getting banned.
Recording is pretty bannable.
He is quite bannable. Although Arc Warden is quite bannable too, and he's not nearly as banned as the flavor of the week like Underlord things, but he is. I see him banned at a not irregular amount. And I mean, yeah, we already talked about our combo. We're playing Arc Warden as a. Are you playing as a 1 or a 2? And then I'm playing Kunkka as a 4.
I'll probably play it as a 1. If someone takes safe lane, I might have to play it as a 2. I mean, you can help my lane either way.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, so that's our combo. It's primarily just to play two heroes that we like that have a general synergy. There's some gimmicky stuff. Me and Proud and I were discussing this before when we were trying to figure out what to play with Arc Warden. We're thinking there is some gimmicky way to abuse X marks the spot with Tempest Double, but we're not exactly sure the specific like way to abuse it unless you've had some epiphany in the last like hour or whatever.
The ability to like TP my hero somewhere and then pop a double and then like pull my hero back. I don't know. Fuck you.
I guess so. Maybe in
No,
like the
that's
early
dumb.
game before BOTs, like that's a possibility.
Even
Like
then, what am I gonna do? Like,
I haven't thought that far ahead.
no. Yeah, I don't think. I think the main gimmick is just with like X or like you keeping someone in place and I'm dropping
Oh,
like spark wraiths and shit.
don't worry, I figured it out. Okay, here's what you
Oh,
do. You said that people have been going bottle, so you're probably gonna go bottle. All right, so I X mark you, you fill up your bottle, then you TP back, then you have 6 bottle charges.
yeah. No. Here's the real play. I spawn my Tempest double and then I bottle you up with it and then I TP home on the Tempest double and then you pull it back and then you got all
And then
them
you
bottle
trade
charges.
bottles. You could trade bottle and
Can't do
refill
that.
both.
Can't do
Yeah.
that.
Oh, you can't trade items to the thing.
No, dude.
Oh,
If my double could drop items, I would just have infinite money.
yeah, that is true. Well, then you're not dropping anything; you're handing it off.
Okay, so as long as it doesn't leave the
Yeah.
subspace that is my inventory, like no laws of physics will be broken.
Well, I could give my bottle. Oh God, I couldn't do it to Tempest Double though. It would just like my bottle would just not go or disappear
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something,
we would
disappear
not
into the
go down.
void.
Right.
Anyway,
Little
so
argument.
yeah, that's our combo. So I
No.
guess
I mean, like, I think in general the heroes fit like the what I like. I feel like every team needs one like area control, AOE, stunny, team fighty hero,
yes,
or like could use one or whatever. Right? Like it's good to have. And Arc Warden is a hero that like the only way I ever die on Arc Warden is if my zone of control is like breached and I can't hold it anymore. Like Arc Warden is a very zoning based hero. I mean, you have Spark Wraiths, which are like the most zony spell that I've ever seen. It's a 4 second cooldown. It puts a mine that takes 2 seconds to activate, and then that mine like runs at something and does 300 damage and slows them. Like that's zone control. And then there's Flux, which is also positioning based, which fucks you up if you're away from other people. And then there's my magnetic field, which is a fucking zone that gives me evasion. And
yeah,
then there's my double, which can also just put up more fucking zones. So it's like Arc Warden is all about zone control. And if I have Kunkka, if I'm getting gone upon, you can throw a boat and it like comes, from behind me and stuns everyone in my shit, and then I can get the fuck away from them.
yeah. Also,
The
X marks the
general
spot
function of the hero.
has Yeah, also X marks the spot has some nice synergy with Spark Wraith in that your wraiths take 2 seconds to create and to like activate. So I can X mark, you can create wraiths while they're trying to run away, like with their futility, and then like I bring them back. They hit torrent damage, then they get both Spark Wraith damage. So that's a nice little bit of synergy too. But basically,
Yeah,
just playing two good heroes together
yeah.
and
I don't think
general
there's
synergy.
I don't think there's anything direct like CM slow hero, Juggernaut spin on hero, kill get. Like it's not
Yeah,
like that, but it's more general. Like you have some zonal stuns and that sort of shit, and you can X someone, and then and then your torrent can like kill whatever creeps around, and then my flux slows them because there's nothing left, etc. etc. So I think it's good in general. Oh yeah, and your cleave like helps kill creeps and shit too, so it's really easy to clear out the fucking hoi polloi motherfuckers walking around the area, and then my flux does the real business. I think it's
that's
good.
true too. Yeah, so yeah, and that's I mean this is something we say all the time, but that's one of the beauties of having a combination like this is they have nice like peripheral synergy and nice
Yeah,
synergy, but they're not
some subtle synergy.
they don't rely on one another.
Yeah. Not like
Okay,
my hero is invalidated when you're not there holding one of my four hands.
yeah, exactly. It's not like a wisp combo, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
for sure. That's a good. You're so
so
smart, dude. It's
thank
so
you.
smart.
I am aware.
No,
The
great.
Okay, so we already discussed each of our builds a little bit before, but let's go into more depth. So, Proud,
Whatever.
what are your like go-to builds
Okay.
or
Well,
build?
there is safe lane, Arc Warden. That's mid lane.
Okay, yes.
And
And
then
itemization wise.
on mid you want to get a Wraith Band and ideally a branch and a Fairy Fire. But if you can't do that because no one's gonna pull you two tangos, then you just buy the branch or you just buy Wraith Tango. And actually with Arc Warden you want to rush the Aquila as fast as possible. Like the first item I buy is Ring of Aquila, and then afterwards I'll probably well if like any mid hero after you get the bounty rune, oftentimes you'll buy a salve because salves are really fucking good. Um, and then you'll try to get so on Arc Warden I'll try to finish the Ring of Aquila because you kind of need that damage to like last hit and shit, and the mana regen is good enough that it lets you kind of spam your Spark Wraith and your Flux as much as you want because those have really low mana costs. And then you get your bottle, and after you get the bottle, you get so then you have like Aquila and then bottle, and then you get boots, and then after that you get your Shadow Blade, and then or sorry you get Midas, and then you get Shadow Blade, and then you go travels, and then Orchid and BKB, and then if you play him on the safe lane, you can do pretty much the same thing. You're gonna rush the Aquila. You can choose to still get bottle. You can get it at the side shop, but you do want to get that bottle refilled. So every time you summon your Tempest Double, it'll have a full bottle to heal you up with. Um, but if you just buy it from the side shop, it'll just have the one charge, which isn't gonna really be enough to like last you. So try to get a rune at some point. It'll be the only bottle refill you ever need. Or bottle crow. It doesn't really matter too much if the courier is free. But yeah, so just get whatever set of regen you want. Tango Mango, or sorry, Salve Mango. Yes, Salve Mango, or the bottle, and then you want to get your Midas up as soon as possible. That's the advantage of running him safe lane is you can just like get that fucking Midas as fast as you can. Um, and then you try to get your Ring of Aquila up, and kind of do the same thing. You get the Midas, get the Aquila. Um,
And then Shadowblade Orchid
yeah,
again.
you can go Shadowblade Orchid. Depending on the game, sometimes I think just going straight for the Mjolnir is good. Like if you really need the wave clear.
Mm-hmm.
But the nice thing about this Arc Warden build is the Shadowblade does help you do physical damage, and the Orchid also has decent stats for physical damage. You can still get a Mjolnir. The BKB honestly has pretty nice plus damage, and you've got two units between you and your Tempest Double, and your magnetic field that you put down does 80 attack speed to everyone inside of it, which is you and your double and all the uh, everything,
Yeah.
everything.
Even like teammates.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
works on teammates too. I don't think it works on creeps, but
Maybe we'll have to check that. I'm
protect
not
other
sure
heroes and
honestly.
buildings within it by evading attacks coming from outside. Yeah, it's I'll double check on that while you're doing your shit. But yeah, so pushing really isn't that much of a problem with this hero. Especially once you get your BKB, you can just like spawn your double, BKB it, throw it up to a tower, and it'll keep the 10-second BKB charge. So pushing is not a problem. You just want to be able to kill heroes, and then you can just let the kit of your hero deal with all of your pushing issues. So Shadowblade, great way to escape. Um, and then Orchid, a great way to get kills. If they have a Manta for your Orchid, you have two Orchids. If they have a Lincolns, you have two Orchids, and Flux also dispels Orchids. So you have a lot of ways to deal with anything that counters Orchids. So it's pretty good stuff. That's my build for the most part. I think that's the best thing to go. You can also go Mjolnir BKB. Every build is really going to start with Midas and then Travels, or Midas Shadowblade Travels. That's you're always going to go that. Um, yeah, and then you can go like Manta Diffusal if you want to be like super split pushy, but he's Arc Warden's Manta illusions don't really do that much. It's just that you can have four illusions, but I don't think that build's very strong.
Okay. Well, I mean that kind of makes sense. I've seen success with both builds to varying degrees. It's a hero that again, this is something we talk about every week, but it's something really to hammer home. Like those heroes with a variety of builds, it helps so much to see like, all right, the enemy team has a Medusa, so like I guess I'm gonna go Manta Diffusal,
Yeah.
or oh they have a Sven, so I'm gonna have to build something that I don't know. That was actually the worst example because
Yeah,
I don't
Sven,
have
like
the.
nothing counters Sven. Team comps counter Sven, not
Yes,
individual items.
that's true. You build abyssals on each hero,
Yeah,
and then
everyone gets an abyssal
well
and a
on
sheep
each
stick.
arc warden, and
Yeah,
you abyssal him for like 5 seconds.
yeah.
That's the play. Okay, so that makes sense.
Wait,
And
Also, E-Blade on this hero is insane. I
Oh yeah.
fucking love E-Blade Arc Warden. There was a fight like when I first started playing him, I was against Ursa's like every game, and I would just build an E-Blade, and then Ursa would go on someone, and I would E-Blade them, and then Ursa would try to go on them after it like ran out, and I would E-Blade them again, and that was like the most frustrated fucking bear that I've ever seen in my goddamn life.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so I mean that's basically Arc Warden, and you'll see in the game that in the VOD, like the hero, he's not a hero that's picked very often, I would say, but the people that do pick him tend to be scary or completely incompetent because they're learning him or randomed
Like
him.
me.
Yeah, but I mean you've played a decent amount of games in the last week or two of
I
him. You've been
did
practicing.
I did win a game at 4,800 with him
That's
solo
good.
ranked, so I mean it must be worth something.
Yeah, he must be at least generally competent. But the hero is I've been seeing a lot on Twitter. A lot of the pro players I follow and other
It's
personalities
like all of a sudden.
have just been complaining about Arc Warden. Granted, they have been like in like every time I hear about Arc Warden, it's a complaint. I've never. It just like so happens that there are much more complaints in the last like I'd say ever since TI, I guess.
Dude, it
It
just like
has.
immediately sprung up. Like now everyone hates Arc Warden.
Well, I mean, the hero
He was
has the
good.
highest win rate of any hero
Oh no, I'm not
above
debating it. I'm
5K.
just so surprised that it was just like
It took this long.
it's just random that it was just like, well, time to complain about Arc Warden now. It's been a
Yeah.
while. Nothing's changed, but now's the time.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like maybe there's like a few really prominent Arc Warden spammers in like high MMR or something,
Yeah.
but I've
I think
definitely been seeing this.
I think it's just like competitive Dota's done for all, so everyone's popping in and they're like, holy shit, we didn't
Yeah.
practice this hero. This is bullshit.
Yeah, people have stopped being like, "Oh, let's practice," Invoker, etc. They're being like, "Man, let's just grind MMR." That's what I've been saying, seeing like a good few people hit 9K that were like on the verge for a while, but they're like, "Man, I'm done with the competitive season for the next little while. I'm kicked from my team. Let's grind some MMR."
Get from my team.
Yeah, that's it. I don't
It's
think
gonna
any
be
of
your
the
life
players that
soon.
have been kicked are 9K. But
Yeah.
anyway, congrats to those people. Maybe either you or I will be the next 9K. Let's commit to it. All right.
XD.
So let's talk about Kunkka, shall we?
Yeah.
While this hero, I've always kind of liked him. Obviously, it's one of my favorite heroes. He is actually, I'd say, arguably my favorite hero. Maybe once Alina's like once she gets really buffed, then she'll be for sure my favorite hero. But until then, Kunkka, he's living up there. And I've already talked about this hero in a previous week when I first started really getting into playing support for Kunkka with that old build with the the mana boots, blink dagger, aether lens, stuff like that. It's a more typical magic damage CC based build. It's all about X marking the spot people and just abusing how they can't move or if they do move or if they do use blink, etc. But with this new build, the LanM build, which I suppose I'll go over the actual build first, the whole idea is completely opposite to the other build, which is the build where you're doing torrent and X marks the spot. The idea with the LanM build, and LanM actually, there's a translated version of his post or his stream that was on Reddit the other day. I'm sure you can find it if you just look up LanM Kunkka build Reddit, Dota 2 Reddit. And it was a build that I really doubted. I remember sitting in the stands at TI and seeing the LanM build, and somebody was asking me about it because they knew I was a Kunkka
Yeah.
player. And I was just like, this is like a cool build for him, and like he's really good at it, but it's like a personalized build. Like it just, to me, initially did not seem like something that was going to work for me or a lot of people in pub games and stuff. I just thought it was like, oh, well, LanM is just like a really good player, and he just like cracked the code on this weird build. Because there were other pro players that were not doing this build, that were doing the more standard thing. Like Chuan was one of the ones that made it famous of like support Kunkka. Like he was one of the very few support Kunkka players, and he would do the more typical mana boots, etc. build. So initially that was my thing, and as per our discussion earlier about learning and adapting builds, I did not learn nor did I adapt that build initially. I was just like, okay, this is just a weird thing this one guy does. It's interesting, but like, whatever. Like it's not applicable to me. And as the tournament went on, I saw other pro players doing the same thing. Like Misery was playing for Kunkka, and I'm sure there were other people playing for Kunkka that I can't remember the name of off the top of my head that were now doing this build or some derivation of this build. Anyway,
Yeah.
as like the weeks progressed, now I've been seeing my pubs, and I was like, I play a similar build when I play mid, so I'm like perfectly like acclimated to armlet toggling and like abusing this kind of stuff. So I figured I'd just try it, and after trying it, I was like, boy, I literally like immediately went to Twitter and I was like, guys, this is the most fun, absurdly strong thing I've done on Kunkka in like months, and it's really like kind of changed my way of thinking about support Kunkka. So definitely, this is my letter saying if you see somebody doing a weird build, try it. Or especially if it's a pro player, not like some random idiot that you like see in a pub once that does
Yeah.
armlet PA or some other garbage. But you see somebody doing something different, don't just write it off and say like, it's just a personalized build. It's not good because it may be a personalized build, but also like maybe it's a personalized build that can work for you. But so anyway, to get to the actual like meat of the Kunkka build, the whole idea is you're gonna be maxing Tidebringer, and you get Torrent at level 1, and then you get either some people get X earlier than others, but generally the idea is to have 1, 2, 1 at level 4. So you're gonna have 1 point X, 1 point Torrent, and 2 points Tidebringer. And the idea behind it, and again, this was something that's only illustrated to me by LanM's post. Like I'd seen the build and I kind of got the general idea of it before, but it took like an entire like lesson from the master basically to really understand why he was doing the things he did. And basically the idea is that in the early game, X marks the spot has terrible range. It has 400 range. And it has like a decently long cast point at low levels. So even if you're smoking in on these ganks, realistically, they're going to be alerted to your presence, and you're going to have all this pause time in between you running up and either not Xing somebody because they position well enough that you can't get in within 400 range, or you're going to get in range, you're going to X mark them, and then in the time it takes for you to X mark and then cast torrent and then the torrent to explode, they're going to have TP support by supports. And this is something more prominent in these like higher level games, especially like TI games. And this was something that was like revolutionary conceptually to me. The idea that you can torrent somebody from off screen and they have no time to react and no time for TP support to come in versus giving them multiple seconds of time for TPs to finish
Yeah.
by X marking, it changes the hero's ganking potential so much, and it's a big difference. The other big thing, and the reason you're leveling Tidebringer is pretty much, I'd say threefold, but it's primarily twofold. One of the core ideas is it lets you farm much more efficiently. So if you're playing a more generic, X marks spot torrent Kunkka, you can farm decently. Like he has decent base damage, and he's hard to gank, so he's not gonna like get killed in lane if you're in a side lane super easily. But with this Tidebringer build, like you can just like go through the jungle and farm stacks, or you can just go into a lane and you can push the lane and stack and do all these things. And it's incredibly strong, and it kind of builds you up into, and kind of the whole crux of this build is to work towards being like almost a fourth core, whether it's a semi core if your game goes okay, or like a legitimate really strong core, like certain games go if you're successful in your ganks and your
Yeah.
farming, etc. In the early game, though, you get all this additional damage from Tidebringer that you do not get if you're putting points into Torrent or X.
That's a
Um,
true statement.
yeah, because Tidebringer, like you have your base damage, which is decent, and then it does additional bonus damage, 25 at level 1, 45 at level 2, building all the way up to 85 damage in like a very significant radius. So when you gank, let's say mid lane, you torn from off screen. If it hits, you go in. If it doesn't hit, you just leave. Your fine is 90 mana. Who cares? Whatever. You go back to your lane. You farm. You pull, etc. You get a rune. But if it does hit, then you run in, and instead of doing some like a couple of hits and X marking them, you run and you hit the ranged creep or whatever creep is going to angle you correctly. You Tidebringer this person, whatever mid it is. You're doing way more damage to them, and you get this duality of being able to farm, but also doing more damage during ganks. And another huge advantage of this whole thing is that once you're in mid game, this build plays the same skill wise because you're going to have max X mark the spot by level 10. You're playing the same Kunkka as you would with the other build, just you have way more resources because you've accelerated your farm potential and accelerated your ability to gank, provided you are competent enough and have played enough Kunkka to be hitting your torrents consistently. Which is not like rocket science. It takes like maybe 5 to 10 games to like learn at least generally like the timings. So
Yeah.
that's the idea. Um, Itemization wise, it's very similar to core Kunkka builds, like the classic attacker build who really popularized the whole armlet thing. The idea is you open the game, you buy Courier and one Ward and Windlace, and then regen, you buy usually one set of Tangos and a Clarity or two. I forget if you can afford two, but you buy at least one, and
I think you
you
can
hope
get
you're.
2.
Yeah, I believe you can get two. I think you can also afford to get both wards with this, but I don't actually no. I don't think you can. Anyway, regardless, math is hard, and but the crux of it is you're getting this windlace first. That's what you want to do to rotate a lot. Your first item is phase boots, and then he doesn't always do this, but it's kind of my personalized adaptation. I've been going bottle because Kunkka has the great way to just X marks the spot himself, spend 50 gold on a TP back to base, get brought back, then you have a full bottle, you'll have full health, full mana, you can give charges to your teammates, whatever. And that's very handy. Purge also made a great video playing support Kunkka where he built an urn, which makes a lot of sense on this hero since he is naturally fighting a lot. But the important thing is you're buying phase boots first, then you build an armlet, and then after that there are like branching paths, I would say, on how to build this. Like some games, LanM would go Yules, which is more of a like traditional supporty build because Yules sets up Torrent very well.
Yeah.
Or he would just go into being like a full-fledged core and build Datalai, and like I said, like really go all in on the core. And the core Kunkka build basically does this, except you build drums in between. That's the attacker build. And by not building the drums, or you could also build the drums after the armlet, you are kind of skipping the expensive but good part to just get to like the meat of like I want to do a bunch of damage because armlet does a bunch of damage. You don't keep it on, so you don't need regen from like a lifesteal item or anything
Yeah.
because you're just toggling it either when you're dying and getting attacked or when you're about to do a tidebringer.
Yeah.
And
That makes sense.
yeah, and you're losing less HP because of the rum buff from Ghost Chip, which is incredibly strong. The rum buff delays damage done to you by a significant amount, and it's 50% of all the damage that you're receiving is delayed for 10 seconds.
That's
So
insane.
yeah, the armlet damage is mitigated, so you're losing less than like a traditional armlet carry,
Oh,
and
that's
also
crazy.
yeah,
The rum, like, actually, even though it's like health loss or whatever, it's like mitigated by the rum.
I believe so. Yes, it
All right.
is wild good. Even regardless of that, like rum buff is just like God, and
Oh
everybody
yeah,
forgets
no,
about it.
rum's insane.
People are like, man, why am I doing so much damage? It's like, well, rum buff, my friend. People are like, oh no, I thought Ghost Ship just did damage and stunned. Nope, it does a lot of other things, aka gets you drunk,
Yeah, it's
which
an
is the best kind of buff.
insanely. It's pretty. Well, maybe not insanely, but it's a pretty long ass tooltip.
Yeah, it does a lot of stuff. That's for sure. Also, the Ags is garbage, and anybody who tells you otherwise is silly.
Yeah.
That,
Okay.
that's my
I'm okay
official
with that.
opinion. It is like in the bottom tier of agonyms, like like uh, like not even situational. I would just never buy it ever. So that's my 2 cents. But also that's definitely not in this build. So that's just something I feel like I need to address because I see it every once in a while, and every time I see it, I'm like, boy, you wasted 4,200 gold, and then I continue to watch the game, and then the person continues to have 4,200 worthless gold.
All right. I'm testing out this armlet thing. I'm actually not sure if this reduces damage. I'll
I'm
let you
not
know though.
sure. I could have just heard that and been wrong, but
I'm pretty sure I've
regardless,
heard that too, but I feel like it's not. It's not true. I'll
okay.
let you know in
Are
2 seconds,
you
buddy.
in the collision course of the
Oh, I'm
boat?
doing it. Yep. Got that rum.
Let's see. I'm waiting
It's.
with bated breath.
I'm losing it pretty. I'm losing health pretty fast.
Okay. Well,
Let's see.
regardless,
Rum wears off. Losing at the same rate.
okay, all right. Well, then that was wrong, but I'm glad you tested it. Regardless, the build is very strong. That was just, one of those little things. Also, that means, you're taking the armlet damage in full, but the other damage is mitigated, so the armlet is less of a threat because
Yeah.
you are taking less damage overall. And it also makes toggling easier if you're taking less damage.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
okay.
It still works well with the armlet.
So I actually forgot to like set a time for this, so I have no clue. Maybe this episode's super
Yeah,
long
I'm pretty
already.
sure it's because like I wanted to talk more about Arc Warden, and then you talked so much about Kunkka, and I'm like, damn, I'm
I'm
gonna talk
just
more about Arc
excitable.
Warden later. Yeah, no, I
Okay.
know, babe, I know, but there's gonna be more because there's so much to say about that here. I didn't want to. But anyway,
Yeah, I
let's go
actually
put.
planned this to be a short conversation so that you could talk a lot about Arc Warden, but then I got off on my tangent where I just spoke
Yeah,
straight for like 20 minutes or whatever that was.
yeah, no, I'm
So
gonna talk
anyway,
more about Arc Warden later.
we will be hopping into our game. One of us will record it, potentially both of us will record it. It'll be up in
Probably.
some capacity on our YouTube channel, .ptv1. It's a numerical 1. You can watch it there with our communication over it and us just, talking about whatever comes up. Should be a fun one. So on that note, thanks for listening, and hopefully we see you on the other side, and hopefully we win the game. That would be nice.
I don't care.
Hello, everybody. This is Roland from your favorite Dota 2 podcast, Defense of the Patience. I am asking a lot of you on this commercial, and that is to go to defenseofthepatience.com, and in the top right, you will see a survey. This is going to give us money. Money that we will spend on terrible things, probably. I've always wanted a monster truck, and if you can help me achieve that, I'd really appreciate it. We've been doing this for 2 years now, and I now have a chance to get a monster truck, so that's pretty exciting for me. Check out the survey. If you don't want to fill it out, don't. But we do need some of you to fill them out. I'm totally rambling here, and I probably should have a script. But I don't have a script, and so this is going to go on for another 10 seconds because you're supposed to have a minute, and I'm at 52 seconds. Please go to the top right of defenseofthepatience.com. Help me make my dreams come true. Thank you for listening to Defense of the Patience.
All right, level 1, we are back. We have completed our game. In a change of pace from the normal week, we are actually not going to tell you the result of the game, whether win or loss. It's not super relevant. I will tell you it was a very good game, despite how miserable it was for me and how miserable it was for Proud. It's very back and forth. Yeah. So honestly, it does not matter who won because it was a fun game. Honestly, like, you should watch it. This is kind of like the shameless plug for our YouTube channel, but honestly, it was a fun game to the end. So that's our plug for that. Anyway, I'm gonna just read off the teams. So the enemy team had a mid lane invoker, a safe lane. Let's see. They had Huskar, Winter Wyvern, but the Wyvern was kind of top sometimes and kind of mid sometimes and kind of bottom sometimes. They had a jungle LC and they had an offlane Timbersaw, which proved to be quite the issue for us because we had, of course, us two in the safe lane, Kunkka and Arc Warden. We had a jungle Sven because some people like to random and rank Dota 2 and ruin, well, maybe not ruin games, but they like to ruin laning phases at the very least.
Fuck it up.
Yeah, that's definitely the word to use. And we had an offlane Night Stalker and we had a mid lane Storm Spirit. The game ended up being an hour long, so you don't have to watch all hour if you're going to watch it, but I'd say skip around. It was a good time.
High ground, dude. Just watch any of the high ground defenses. Those were fucking intense.
They were. So I guess that's what we should get to it. So how did you feel about the combo, Proud? Like, obviously, I think both of us can agree our high ground defense was stellar with this comp.
God, yeah.
And
our high ground was fucking fantastic. Like, damn. It was kind of unfortunate that we couldn't really get too aggressive early because we were getting dual laned against by fucking Timbersaw Winter Wyvern, which as Arc Warden Kunkka is not fun. Like, the Timbersaw is hard enough on its own. We have a fucking jungle Sven. Like, Timbersaw fucking thrives when he's against only 2 heroes instead of a full tri-lane, so that was rough. And then you add in like not an Arc Warden, a fucking Winter Wyvern. It was just brutal. Like, the laning phase was so fucking bad. But like, we managed just fine. You know, we're okay against them. At some point, you know, we like overextended, and I think one of us died, and then that kind of snowballed things. But then we ended up killing the Timbersaw in response once or twice, so it wasn't too bad, but it's still pretty rough.
Yeah. I mean, I got first blooded by him, and then like we kept like almost killing him, but then he had reactive armor, and then he'd kill both of us.
Yeah.
And like eventually, Night Stalker at first night came and ganked for us, and that got us a kill. And I think at one other point he killed me, but then Storm rotated and then killed Timber, so it was a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah.
But it was definitely rough. Like, everybody that has played against a Timber knows like you gotta like try lane him or at least zone him with like a ranged hero, and like we can't zone him with like Kunkka Arc Warden. And then like everything about it was just bad, honestly. Like, I think the only worst matchup would have been like a Brood Mother. So
yeah,
landing phase was less than ideal. That is definitely the term. Like, you didn't have a very well timed Midas because of this whole like travesty. And the whole thing we were talking about in the first section with Kunkka is like, you know, you pick this to be a 4 position to roam, but when you have a jungler, especially a Sven jungle that cannot rotate out of jungle and like gank lanes and stuff, or at least he can, but he didn't. So we were just kind of stuck, and I couldn't roam. I roamed 1 point and got a kill somewhere on mid lane, I believe. But
I think so.
It would just like, it really locked us in there, and it was like the absolute worst situation, especially for me. and also I had to buy all the support stuff, so I couldn't start with like Windlace plus tangos and stuff. So
Yeah.
it was not good. This Kunkka is definitely not a 5. Like, it ended up like kind of working out in this game, in like the mid to late game where like I did have my armlet, but as that like first 20 minutes was just absolute suffering. Honestly, like it was one of
Yeah.
the worst Kunkka games I've played, like laning
Cool.
phase and mid game wise.
Once we got pretty far past that, there were all these times where we'd be fighting, and you would like X someone and torrent them, and then I would have like ghosts underneath, and I'd have like two spirits, and then like one spirit would hit, and then like 1 second later the next spirit would hit, so they were like purged or purge slowed down for like 2 seconds. And then fucking they were fluxed, and then they were fucking orchided, and then your shit was up again. Like the timber saw kept trying to timber chain somewhere, and it was just like he would, as chain would go out, he'd start moving, and it was just fucking nope, and then we just keep doing shit. There was like so
Yeah.
many times we're here, like even Huskar with the Dragon Lance couldn't connect on any of his hits because we were just fucking them up so hard.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of kiting mechanics, and once like you got your Orchid up and eventually your Bloodthorn, and Storm had his Bloodthorn up, and we had a Night Stalker, there was just so much silence coming out,
Oh yeah,
and so many
dude,
other
there was one.
issues.
There was one fight we were chasing timber, and it was like, Night Stalker silence. I walk up, I orchid again. Fucking Storm Spirit fucking balls in from across the map, orchids, and then Night Stalker silences up again, and then we just do another chain, and Timber's just like, this is bullshit.
Yeah, it was very sad, Timber. Like, you expect the Timber to really snowball over you once like he has such an amazing laning
Yeah, when
phase.
he's got like 6 kills in lane, like you're like, okay, this is a Timber game, but no.
Yeah. And then yeah, when once we really kicked into high gear, we shut him down. But then like their LC got a lot out of the game, and again, like I mean, we don't. It was very back and forth, definitely. Like each team had a lot of strength, and it was really down to the wire.
Dude,
Like
that was
the most
honest.
down to the wire a game can get.
Oh yeah, no, that game was so close. There were so many times when we were like high grounded, and I was like, do we have any fucking chance here? And it was just like no every fucking time. But we got so close so many times, but it was rough. But
Man.
dude, no, like that timber saw was like fucking perfectly like a perfect example of how having two orchids is like infinitely better than one. Because I would keep orchiding him, and then he would lotus orb himself, and then I would just like, so I would do it with like my main hero, and then he'd Lotus Orb to dispel it, and then I'd use it on my illusion, and then I'd BKB my illusion. So the fact that the Orchid got bounced to my illusion didn't matter at all because it was already BKB'd.
Oh,
So it
that's a
still
good
cast
point.
spells and shit. Yeah, dude, it was incredible. Honestly, like I felt so fucking good that game.
Yeah, it definitely was a game where like the Arc Warden really shined when you had the chances to. Like obviously in the early mid game, we had some issues, and like Arc Warden just squishy at that point, and like they had an LC that would just blink. Fortunately,
Yeah.
the LC did not know, or they nerfed it, but definitely in the previous patch, LC could duel the illusion, and since the illusion counts as a hero, the LC could just have farmed dual damage from your illusion. But that did not happen, and I don't know. I haven't like read the patch notes specific to that. I don't know if that was a bug that got fixed, but that was a thing for a long time. Like ever since Arc Warden has come out. So either that person just didn't know that, or like it's been fixed. But I never saw him or her duel the whatever it's called. I'm just gonna call it the illusion.
It does
So
not grant damage anymore.
okay, all right, then never mind. But that definitely used to be a thing. So if you're playing Dota in a previous patch, know that. That's your tip.
Yeah, if you're playing Warcraft 3 Dota and playing a previous patch, there you go.
Well, no, not even Warcraft 3. Like right when it came out in Dota 2, that was the thing.
I know, but no one listening to this is going to play a previous patch unless they're
I
on War
mean,
3.
I don't know. Some people they may be like, man, I'm a really
I
big
like
fan of
really hate this
6.87.
conversation. This is
I
a
do
hideous
too.
conversation.
It's not very good.
No.
All right. Any more thoughts, game? Like, I mean, I think we can definitely agree that like our high ground defense as a full team was by far our like we've talked about draft budgeting and stuff like that before. Like every team has strong suits and weak suits. Our strong suit was most definitely our high ground push, and our weak suit was our laning, which was just abysmal.
Yeah.
And they kind of got a lot out of the laning phase, whereas we got a lot out of the obviously like the mid to late game phase. Primarily the late game. The mid game we had some more issues because they had a bunch of
Yeah.
like cores that came on early. I had a ton of issues. Honestly, like my issues did not stop during the laning phase. I was able to contribute to these skirmishy fights that due to like once I had max X mark, which is the benefit of this build is even though I was very behind in laning phase, once I had like phase boots armlet, I could farm side lanes and stuff on the rare occasion that was a thing. But with 4 cores, and 4 cores, especially one being Arc Warden, which is effectively 2 cores, farming the map, there were not a lot of opportunities to do that. But I did have like the rare opportunity, and during fights I could just stay on like the outskirts and just X people and torrent and throw ships and stuff. But it was not like a stellar Kunkka game, that is for sure. Even though the game went an hour long, like I only had like 40 minutes of farm for a support. Like I had phase armlet, and then I went Yules, and then I went blink. Normally you go phase armlet blink, and then like something like a Yules or Daedalus or whatever.
Hey.
But I was just getting absolutely massacred in every fight, so I just bought the Yules to like not do that, and then it turned out I still got massacred. I ended up being 2-13 that game. It was not fun.
Yeah, your net worth at 5 minutes was 500 gold.
Yeah, it was not good.
Although after like 10 minutes, you were always above their wyvern, so there's at least that.
Oh yeah, their wyvern was like utter garbage, and obviously I'm a little biased because I'm a wyvern player, and like you always want to put people down that play your hero. But he was not good, and you can always tell because he started with W, not Q, and like
dude. But then he canceled my fucking clarity with it, which is bullshit.
He did do that. That was my clarity on you, to be fair.
That was your clarity upon me.
I'm a very generous 6.
No, you're great. I will say though, Arc Warden, even though my lane was so fucking bad, I did have top hero damage, so you can just shower all your praise upon me.
Oh yeah, Arc Warden was definitely like the powerhouse of that game for sure. And Storm made some nice plays, and we had our Night Stalker had like a decent times Ags. He had Ags at 22 minutes, which like all things considered was pretty good. He's laying into Huskar Lion too.
That's great.
Yeah, and so the game ended up being exciting and fair, even though like we started at a very big disadvantage, but their high ground just wasn't like stellar. And the only time they could high ground was with Aegises, and even then like they had a lot of issues. Yeah. So it was definitely a fun game. Like honestly, like if you're gonna watch one game that we've played, like at least watch like the last 10 minutes of this one.
Yeah, honestly.
Maybe not the first 20 or the first 10, because the first 10 are just us complaining and talking about how OP Timbersaw is.
Probably 1/3 of the things we said were what a hero.
Yeah,
doing some nice ice frog shit.
Yeah, it was silly. But that's what Dota players do though. Whatever hero you're losing to is like irredeemably OP, like just by definition, right?
Yeah. I say what a hero. I will never blame Ice Frog because he's fucking perfect.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I said OS Frog, which is like the memes. That's the things that the kids use. But
if you say so,
I say what a hero all the time as well. It's like the perfect phrase. Any more thoughts on the game, honestly? Like,
yeah, I want the heroes in this game weren't that unique to Dota 2 in general. Like it's like Timbersaw, and there was like a Huskar, which is kind of unique, and like I don't know, there are so many heroes that I feel like Silver Edge is actually just really good against. And I don't think it's much of a surprise that I ended up going Bloodthorn Silver Edge and just straight upgrading both my Orchid and my Shadowblade instead of going into a new item. I mean, I did get my BKB, but yeah, like I upgraded my Bloodthorn and I upgraded my Silver Edge. And I was really looking for other items that would have been better to buy. Like I was really thinking about Deso, just so we'd be able to like muscle some of these heroes down before Wyvern could save them. Or Maelstrom and Mjolnir to deal with all the lanes of fucking creeps that they had, and then they got fucking mega creeps and shit. And I was like, maybe a Mjolnir will help, but it just like, even though all these situations arose where it seemed like these other items would have been like the play, still just Silver Edge and Bloodthorn were the things to get. So I feel like this is kind of the build for Arc Warden. Kind of like there are so many builds for like Juggernaut or whatever, but eventually it was like Battle Fury is the thing to do, and now it's like, if you're playing mid Juggernaut, really just go Manta Diffusal. Like yes, the hero has so many things open ended, but there are some that are just most of the time like the default build, and I feel like what is it? So it's Aquila boots or Aquila bottle boots, Shadowblade travels, Orchid, BKB, and then upgrade Bloodthorn and Silver Edge in whichever order you please. I feel like that's the play now. I said Midas, right?
You didn't say Midas, but the Midas is implied because you're playing Midas,
and then Shadowblade.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, like again, like I talked at length about the Kunkka build. Even though this game went horribly, like the build still like shined, and Kunkka is still really good. Like just having the rum buff, like during these high ground attacks, like I would just throw ship over a bunch of our teammates and like Yeah, of course I'm trying to hit the enemy, but it's also a large aspect of like, oh, they're dueling somebody, let me boat over them,
Yeah,
stuff
dude,
like that.
fucking Legion almost never won a duel in a high ground, and I'm pretty sure a lot of that was your own.
Yeah, it helped. I mean, she won a bunch of duels because she would just duel me, which is
Well,
terrible. But
yeah. Dude,
she hit a lot of everything.
I kept trying to like get you on the edge of one of those bubbles, but it's like it's so fucking hard when like the
Yeah,
fight's going crazy and like
you did it a couple times. You had some
yeah.
nice bubbles on
Oh yeah,
buildings as
getting it
well.
on buildings is so funny. They're like, oh Jesus, because like the only way that they can hit is if they go inside the bubble, but the buildings are so big they have to like go onto our side, and then there's like an army of fucking like remnants or whatever the fuck that I placed down waiting for them. It's so great.
Yeah,
Love this hero.
that's kind of my thoughts on the game. Honestly, I think I'm pretty commentaried out as far as this game goes. Like,
I will
it's
say,
an exciting game, but that's about it for me.
buying a casual Blightstone on this hero, I think is really good. Like you don't really have the slots for it too much, but once I had, I didn't have enough slot, or I didn't want my bottle anymore, and we just needed to be able to like high ground and get something out of it, and I didn't have an insane amount of money, so I just like picked up a Blightstone. And not gonna lie, we might not have done as well as we did on that like final push if we didn't have a Blightstone there.
Yeah, armor, like 3 armor makes a big difference, especially
Two,
against towers and stuff.
two.
2? Okay, well, it's
I
close
know
enough.
you can buy that item. It's not like you play TA.
I usually round down to the nearest
To the nearest three,
to
and that would be
yeah.
rounding up.
I round up to the nearest odd number that is derivative of 9.
That's
That's
not how the
generally.
word derivative works.
Don't worry about it. I don't do math. I do history.
Clearly.
I would like to not even attempt to continue this conversation because I'm just like I just don't care
It
about
was over and
Blightstone.
you just brought it back up.
Yeah. Do you have any more comments before hopping in the plugs?
I really like this game. Arc Warden is really fun. Support Kunkka is dope, even if you were in a shit situation. And if you want to see what you need to like come back from a really shitty game, like this is how you like if so a lot of times you're like, oh, what do you do when your safe lane is so shit and your lane is garbage? Like you can kind of watch this and maybe you'll get to see like what you can do if your lane is goes really poorly.
Yeah.
You can watch my perspective. I mean, part of it is to have 2 Midases, which helps out a shit ton.
It's
But
that
I mean,
easy.
the way that I got to that point, like I only got my Midas at 13 minutes, so presumably there was shit that I did before then. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a good game. If you want to see how we play and how we play when games are really shit, like watching people when games are going great is fucking worthless. Like I never, when I was playing StarCraft, I never looked at replays where guys like, look, I won, and it's just like they stomped. Some dude tried to like rush them and it failed
Yeah.
horribly, and then they won. Like that's not cool. But seeing how to win a difficult game and how people deal with adversity is like actually the stuff you need to work on.
Yeah, I always say that, I do my replay review series and stuff, and, if you give me a replay where it's like either you got stomped or you stomped, you learn, like, basically nothing. Or, like, if you're doing, like, coaching or if you're just watching a pro game, it's like, you're not going to learn something from watching a team get pushed in 15 minutes or, like, watching an outdraft. Like, that's just not educational. So I definitely agree completely that, like, this was a very back and forth game. Also, I don't know if we already said this, but we're gonna be releasing both VODs, so you can watch Proud's point of view, or you can watch my point of view if you're interested in either hero, or you can watch both, and that would be weird. I don't know why you do that, but like, you're an adult, you
You should
can,
watch
or I
mine.
mean,
It's better.
you're presumably an adult, so yeah. Honestly, yes, probably watch Proud's, because I wasn't able to play like a true 4 position Kunkka. Like I couldn't roam and stuff, and I did like occasionally, and like my mid to late game was still like Kunkka mid to late game, but I was behind, so. Like I have many other Kunkka VODs that are better Kunkka VODs than this one, but this was definitely a good game overall, regardless of like my individual enjoyment or play of the game. But
Yeah.
I would say, in all honesty, Proud's VOD was better. Also, Roland made an appearance for like 1 sentence,
Oh,
which
but I
is
hate
fun.
that dude. He's a bitch.
Yeah,
Sorry,
he's the
that's a
worst.
bad word.
I'm just kidding. That was rude.
Yeah, I love that boy.
Let's close it out then, shall we?
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Okay, so you can watch us play video games on twitch.tv/.ptv. You can also watch as we are recording right now, and also presumably next week, if you're listening to this on Thursday. We run in-houses every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and they're a lot of fun. I think we're now running 3 sets of lobbies. I mean, we've always run 3 sets, but we run 3 lobbies each time. So there's 9 games every Wednesday night. It's a lot of fun. Like right now on stream, we have like 50 people watching. You get your games casted. Almost always, it depends. Like sometimes, like some of the non-streamed ones don't have a caster, but Like, you get games casted. Proud and I make an effort to make it, though that cannot always happen because we generally record the show during the in-house times or like at the beginning, or we end at the beginning. But regardless, they're a lot of fun. The hosting is a good time. It's just like a casual experience. If you like fun Dota 2, that's not too serious, but still just serious enough, show up. It's a good time. Really, like, I can't
Oh
say
my
anything
God.
but good things about that contractually.
Something fucked up my recording.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
so sad.
YouTube, you can watch .ptv1. That is our YouTube channel where you can apparently find my VOD and not Proud's. It's a shame, but you still get the bulk of things by watching my VOD. Or honestly, like, just go to like one of our Dota buffs and just click the game, and like you can just find the match ID there, and you can watch it in client at your leisure. Or go to our accounts if you have us on Friends, or if you don't have us on Friends, add us. It's a good game. Like, honestly, just watch it, skim through it. Our website is defenseofthepations.com. On there, you can find many things like our Amazon banner, which helps us out. But more importantly, you can find the poll, or not a poll, the quiz, I guess, the questionnaire that is currently running. That is going to help us potentially get advertising later, because it turns out we spend a lot of time making this, and we would like to make potentially a little money. And, we would greatly appreciate if you would fill out that survey. That's the word I'm looking for, not questionnaire, a survey. It's very unobtrusive. It's like the most generic questions I can think of. Granted, I didn't think of them. It helps us out a lot, honestly. Like, it's like it takes 30 seconds, literally. I did it, and like it took less than 30 seconds, actually. 30 seconds if you're like slow at clicking, or like you have really slow APM or something. But yeah, that would help us out a lot. On Twitter, you can reach both of us. I am at Ursinity. Proud is at Proud Dota. Flub is at Flub Dota with 2 B's. At .p_show is everything we do. .p. You can email us, defensethepations@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts, everything, anything. Tell us your
Wait,
secrets.
it might be working. It's very weird. I think I can fix it though. All right. Watch
I
out
believe
for
in
it,
you,
friends.
Proud.
Thank you.
You'll find at the very least my VOD, and if you tune into .ptv1 or YouTube channel, you may find both VODs. And if you don't, such is life.
We're
Uh,
good. It's good.
Sick. We won. All right. You can also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/defenseofthepatients. We really appreciate that. And we also have a Reddit, r/defenseofthepatients. And last but not least, iTunes reviews. That is yet another way that really helps us grow, puts us up there on the charts, and we really appreciate it. Anything and everything. We like to read them on the show. Normally they're read on the Monday show, but if you want it to be read by us, let us know in the review or something. We really
Yeah.
appreciate that. Any and all feedback. If you like us, if you don't like us, tell us why. So that's about it for the plugs. Remember, of course, this has been our theory, and if it doesn't go
Wait a
great,
sec.
well,
I need to address the plugs a little bit.
okay,
All right,
please do so.
Thank you. Anyway, so I did put out my request to get personally flamed, and I think I got it, but someone called me a douche canoe. I think
Yeah,
that was the thing
that was
that
a good
happened.
one.
So I'm just gonna choose to believe that that was because I asked for it, and not because you actually think I'm a douche canoe, which would be rude, and I don't appreciate it. But
Life is
if
full of
not,
trouble.
then it's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a
honestly, I'm
sensitive
fine with you
boy.
either way, kind of listener. I'm just glad you have a favorite host, which is me. All right, so on that
That's
note,
funny.
I'm going to close this out. Remember, of course, this has been our theory, and if you lost with it, well, it's probably your jungling Sven's fault.